This is my second DVD review of a Dark Shadows DVD set, or DVD, and this is Dark Shadows, The Vampire Curse. And this is a collection of, I'm trying to remember exactly how many episodes are on this. I don't really remember. But there are several episodes. I would say at least probably 8 or 9 on this particular disc. This is the story. This is from when Victoria Winters, played by Alexandra Moltke, went back in time to the year 1795, when Barnabas Collins was still a normal person, when he was still a normal man, and he was getting set to marry his longtime love, Josette Dupré, played by Catherine Lee Scott. And unfortunately, he comes across a former spurned lover, that being Angelique, the evil witch, played by Laura Parker. And Angelique orchestrates a series of unfortunate events in Barnabas's life until she forces him to marry her. But in so doing, she also forces Josette to marry Barnabas's uncle, Jeremiah Collins. I can't remember the name of the actor who played Jeremiah. I'm sure someone out there more knowledgeable about the series would tell me who played Barnabas's uncle, Jeremiah. What happens is Jeremiah and Josette fall in love somehow because of Angelique. They get married. Barnabas demands satisfaction, so he challenges his uncle to a duel, and he kills him. He kills his uncle. So, and then we go into Barnabas agreeing to marry Angelique in exchange for Angelique saving his little sister's life, his little sister Sarah, who was played by Sharon Smith. Barnabas adored his little sister, loved his little sister with all his heart. And then we also see Barnabas's father, Joshua Collins, portrayed by Louis Edmonds, and his mother, Naomi, portrayed by Joan Bennett. Of course, they in the modern times they played Roger Collins and Elizabeth Collins Stoddard, respectively. And what eventually happens is Barnabas decides that he doesn't want anything to do with Angelique after she has healed his sister. So, because of all the spurning that he has done, now Angelique gets a little bit of a helper, who is actually Barnabas's manservant Ben Stokes, played by Thayer David, who also portrayed in the modern times Professor T. Elliot Stokes. But then he breaks the spell, referring to Ben Stokes. But what happens is Angelique decides, she's had enough. She's going to do something to Barnabas that will absolutely devastate the family. So she has a vampire bat bite Barnabas and turn him into a vampire. So now he's a vampire, rises from the grave because the family thought he was dead. He attacks and vampirizes a few women. Eventually, Josette learns that he's alive, that he's come back from the dead, and he puts the bite on her. Eventually, Josette goes to Widow's Hill, thanks to Angelique, and so does Barnabas. And what happens is Angelique shows Josette what her life will be like if she decides to pursue a continuing relationship with Barnabas. She shows Josette that she will be a vampire. This just drives Josette crazy, as she leaps from after Barnabas comes to see her, or comes to try and convince her, that he's not going to harm her, she leaps off the hill, or leaps off the cliff at Widow's Hill to her death. So Barnabas is heartbroken now because he's lost his only love, the woman that he truly, truly loved, and that was Josette. So he decides there's really not much left for him. So he asks his father. He reveals himself to his father. His father, he begs his father, destroy me, or I will come back from the dead. Or I will continue to come back from the dead and victimize people. His father can't drive himself to kill Barnabas, so he takes him to the Eagle Hill Cemetery, the mausoleum, the Collins Mausoleum, puts him in a casket in a secret room in the mausoleum, and chains the coffin shut, and puts a cross on the inside of the lid, where Barnabas thought he would stay for all eternity. That didn't work out that way, however, because Willie Loomis found Barnabas in 1967 and revived him, as it were. And Barnabas, there was an extra episode that was in black and white, where Barnabas presents himself to the Collins family, actually just to Elizabeth Collins Stoddard, introducing himself as a cousin from England. And, Elizabeth buys it. And there's also another episode on here where we see the first meeting between Barnabas and Maggie Evans, which is also on the Best of Barnabas DVD, which I just reviewed. So not only is there a wonderful series of episodes on this disc, there's also an interview with Jonathan Frid, Barnabas Collins himself. A very good, a never before seen interview, in fact. Also, Catherine Lee Scott does them Dark Shadows promos. Actually, it's a Dark Shadows promo from Catherine Lee Scott. I believe it was aired on PBS, if I'm not mistaken. But this set is really terrific. It tells the complete story of how Barnabas Collins became the vampire because of the curse of Angelique. I do give this set another 5 out of 5 stars. It's really, really terrific. This is probably some of the best writing that's ever been put out there. And they had some really terrific writers on Dark Shadows, including Sam Hall, who was married to Grayson Hall, a.k.a. Dr. Julia Hoffman, and also a.k.a. Natalie Dupre, who was the aunt of Josette Dupre. In this set, we see Grayson Hall as Natalie Dupre, the aunt of Josette Dupre. But yeah, this is definitely 5 stars, and really, this is really good stuff. I mean, it's classic. It's really classic. Yes, the bloopers are there, the flood lines, the technical stuff, and all that, like it is on the Best of Barnabas. But this is really a really great disc. You can find this at Amazon.com. You can also find it at MPIHomeVideo.com. So I do highly recommend getting Dark Shadows, The Vampire Curse.